Yes, we have time and again spoken about the Gandhi's family and the kind of corruption that some of the key members of the party have been involved in. And this also perhaps goes into that added list of politicians minting money. And of course, this adds enough fuel or rather ammunition to the ruling party so far in terms of this also comes at a crucial time when elections are around the corner in some of the key states like Uttar Pradesh and many more. So we'll have to wait and see how this will also pan out for the Gandhi's family as well as for the party like Congress, which has in itself been undergoing a lot of these crises, especially with the G23 group and things like that that we have been hearing time and again. So we'll have to see how this is going to pan out for the party as such at a crucial time when even the opposition is getting together to fight the BJP, and where will Congress figure in all of these things is going to be a key development in the light of this Pandora Papers.
Hello, good evening, namaste, and welcome to Citti Media. My name is Citti, and I'll be your host for today's current affairs show. Joining us today is Pratiba Raman. She's a familiar face on Citti Media. And in the last 2 years, we've all heard about the Panama Papers, and it caused an uproar, not just in India, but across the world as well, with prominent individuals around the world being named as a part of that expose. Now, today we are hearing about Pandora Papers, and it is supposed to be a much more extensive and a comprehensive list of individuals across the world who have offshore assets. To discuss this, we are joined by Pratibha ji. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaste. How are you?
Namaste, Sharan, and thanks to Citti Media for inviting me over. And it's indeed a Pandora's box. I don't know how far we can really delve into the depths of it.
Right. We are very happy to have you here, of course. And indeed, there's a lot to cover, but let's hope to cover as much as we can, hopefully. Now, beginning with the basic question, what are the Pandora Papers is what everyone is asking. So could you tell us more about this?
Well, this seems like an unprecedented leak of financial documents, which is called the Pandora Papers. It seems like a Pandora's box of financial secrets that have been unearthed over here. And basically, there are top politicians, world leaders, celebrities, so many of them who have been named in this, who seem to be hiding investments in the form of, say, beachfront properties or yachts or mansions, etc. These are other assets that are based in different forms of in different places across the world. So we call it the offshore entities, offshore assets, and these are basically done to evade tax, basically done to hide their own personal assets. So these are some of these secrets that have been unearthed so far, and it seems like volumes and volumes. We are talking of so many terabytes of information, nearly equivalent to what, 750,000
Right.
photos that you can actually
Yes.
browse through at one go.
Right. Now, among the names who have been named, especially in India, and a lot of the people on Twitter have already gotten defensive about it without having to take names here. But if I can start with the master blaster, Sachin Tendulkar has been named as a part of this. And why this becomes important is because he's also a former Rajya Sabha member and he's been accused of certain things. What do we know so far about this?
Well, that is pretty interesting to see that so many of these names that have been featured who are ring fencing their wealth, and one of the names cropping up is definitely Sachin Tendulkar, along with other names like Anil Ambani and the likes. But interestingly, in Tendulkar's case, what we understand is that he as well as his family members have been part of these offshore entities in British Virgin Islands. BVI is what we call it. And another interesting fact is that they did liquidate this in 2016 after a leak of similar set of financial documents called the Panama Papers that you had earlier mentioned, Sharan. So Tendulkar's representatives so far have said that these transactions were completely legitimate, and that these were declared to tax authorities, but then we'll have to wait till further investigations take place. Sachin Tendulkar, his wife, as well as his father-in-law, have been named as BOs and directors of SARS International Limited, is what we hear, according to these reports that have been leaked. And during the liquidation process that I talked about earlier, the average buyback price was $96,000. Now we'll have to wait and see how these investigations take place, whether at all this was there. What is another interesting fact is that these were not really revealed much earlier, perhaps because as a nominated Rajya Sabha member, you do not have to really declare your assets as compared to other elected Rajya Sabha members. So we'll have to wait and see whether the master blaster was indeed the god of cricket or not.
Thank you so much. This does seem to be a very interesting development. Now, in other news, what if there is one person who has been named and it comes as a surprise entry is Mr. Anil Ambani. What do we know so far about his involvement and the details about the entire news about Anil Ambani as far as Pandora Papers are concerned?
Well, so far we've been thinking that Anil Ambani is indeed bankrupt, but looks like he is rich otherwise, Sharan. So Anil Ambani recently filed for bankruptcy in a UK court, and there was this one lawyer that I read about in one of the media reports talking about how his client, that is the younger Ambani, followed all due procedures and made declarations before concerned authorities. Now, of course, I mean, all of these people are going to be defending their transactions and declarations, of course. But then what we hear is that he has been owning 18 offshore companies in places like Jersey, BVI, that is the British Virgin Islands, and Cyprus as well. So this was set up in what, 2007 or 2010 during this time period. And 7 companies in which he invested actually the number points to around $1.3 billion. So 3 months after the court hearing, when he filed for this bankruptcy in the UK court, the court had suggested that he pay $716 million to 3 Chinese banks. Interestingly, at that point in time, he did mention that he has absolutely no assets whatsoever, even in offshore companies. So here is where the truth lies, or rather the investigation will point to whether this is the truth.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, a country that is going through a financial turmoil, a financial crisis, and has been literally begging China for its own survival is Pakistan. And we are learning that the civilian government's head, Prime Minister Imran Khan, and some of his closest associates, almost as many as 700 people in Pakistan have been named as a part of this. What all details do we have so far?
Sharon, what I did mention is that this particular leak of documents has been done by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, who some of them are also in Pakistan. And interestingly, Imran Khan's name hasn't been directly featured in the list. So like you said, there are a lot of his members, even from the cabinet, who have been named here, who seem to be secretly owning an array of companies and trusts nearly worth millions of dollars that we're talking of here. And I forget the name, Mr. Imran Khan's water resources minister. If I'm not wrong, the last name is Ilahi. And he apparently contacted a Singapore-based offshore services provider called Citti in 2016 to set up a trust to invest profits from a family land deal, is what we hear. And this was apparently financed by what the lender claims was an illegal loan. So these are some of the things that we're hearing. And Citti, the records of Citti point to the fact that Ilahi decided to back off from this deal when the provider said that they would report, or rather threatened that they would report to Pakistani tax authorities. So this is just a one-off case that we're talking of. There are so many, like even the Pakistan Finance Minister Tarin, who owns 4 offshore companies. And another interesting fact, Sharon, is that a luxury London apartment was actually transferred from the son of a famous movie director. The name of the person hasn't been revealed so far. And this was actually done to the wife of a Pakistani general. Now, that is pretty interesting for a journalist like me, because we are talking about this at a time when, you know, the relations between India and Pakistan are at the seams right now. And this comes as a pretty interesting development. And talking about these service providers, I read somewhere that these Pandora Papers have been leaked from 14 different service providers doing business in 38 different jurisdictions in the world. So that's quite a lot of research here. We'll have to wait and see how many more such documents are going to be unearthed.
Absolutely. And in the meanwhile, if we get to know more about this, we shall be updating on Chitti Media. But if I may ask you a last question, what comes as a surprise, or rather a very interesting development, is that one of the closest aides to the Gandhi family, Captain Satish Sharma, has also been mentioned on this list. And of course, as a part of the political discourse for several years, it is in public light that the Gandhis have been accused of corruption, not just in the National Herald case, but in terms of storing assets offshore as well. And this comes as a clear evidence because this happens to be a person who is very close to the Gandhis. So how much information do we know as of now?
Well, as of now, we need a lot more information. And of course, this is definitely going to open up a lot of these political debates across the country. And yes, we have time and again spoken about the Gandhi's family and the kind of corruption that some of the key members of the party have been involved in. And this also perhaps goes into that added list of politicians minting money. And of course, this adds enough fuel, or rather ammunition, to the ruling party so far, in terms of this also comes at a crucial time when elections are around the corner in some of the key states like Uttar Pradesh and many more. So we'll have to wait and see how this will also pan out for the Gandhi's family, as well as for the party like Congress, which has in itself been undergoing a lot of these crises, especially with the G23 group and things like that that we have been hearing time and again. So we'll have to see how this is going to pan out for the party as such, at a crucial time when even the opposition is getting together to fight the BJP. And where will Congress figure in all of these things is going to be a key development in the light of this Pandora Papers.
Right. Thank you so much. And I'm sure in the coming days, we will be getting to hear more about the Pandora Papers in detail, and we'll be waiting for more information on this. But thank you so much. I'm really glad and happy that you could join us again on Chitti Media. On that note, we'll just conclude. Thank you so much. Namaste and have a good day.
Thank you. And you too. Let's hope that these documents keep getting unearthed to find out the real face of several of these politicians and world leaders.
Yes, we'll be looking forward to that. And to all our viewers, please do like, share, and subscribe to Chitti Media. My name is Sharan Citti, your host, signing off.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.